I rap the globe, feeling well-rounded. When I explode, hear the shell sounded. A different mode when you're spellbounded.
Free Will, Harlem, New York. Based in Vegas, new music producer, audio engineer. I linked up with Evoken here in Vegas. We've been rolling ever since.
I'm Evoken, from Tampa, Florida. Hip-hop artist. Also prior military, I was in the Air Force for about 6 years. Near the tail end of my career, I linked up with Free Will and we got to work out here in Las Vegas.
As soon as we linked up and we started working, I mean, we knocked out like 3 different projects in less than a year. So once we knew that, it was like, okay, we're gonna keep this thing rolling.
It's just been chemistry because we both had the same mentality as far as how we approach music and the direction that we wanted to go in.
My pops was a former DJ. I would play around my father's vinyls. My father would have a stack of vinyls this high. It was just constant music playing, a lot of old Latin soul music, 70s music. I got into hip hop because I just, that was the community growing up. You know, the kids you go to school with, everybody was listening. I'm from New York, so, everybody grew up on hip hop.
Growing up, I mainly heard 90s hip hop, R&B, just some 70s soul, things that my family was playing, mother and grandmother and so forth. The first album that really got me tuned in was Jay-Z's album, American Gangster. It had such an old school, soulful sound that really piqued my interest. That made me go back, look into his music, and when I got more into 90s hip hop as a whole, I started picking up a really rabid interest in learning just the fundamentals of hip hop. And I would literally take dictionaries, thesauruses, and just blank notepads and have those with me at school. Learning how to rhyme, that was the thing I was obsessed with, the art of rhyming. And just my love of words and rhyming and grammar really is what kind of got me fascinated with it.
One of my biggest weaknesses, I just have too many ideas. So what he does, he kind of helps me weed out what doesn't work. Like for the project that we did, it was 14 tracks, and we had 40 to 50 different instrumentals to choose from. And he's like, hey, no, leave that one to the side. Leave this one use this one. This one's really good. I like a lot of old records because I'm big on soul. I feel like a lot of music nowadays is lacking in soul. And we want to really bring that back because, I don't really hear too much music out there that's timeless.
So the good thing with Will and I working together is that he was talking about digging through the vinyls and listening to the old type of, the older genres of music, is the different sounds that he pulls out have different rhythms, different vibrations that elicit a different flow out of the artist, out of myself as the vocalist. Some beats that are out, whether this is old school or new school, they sound a little too technical. They may be missing that kind of earthy element, and that's something I also appreciate. So when I hear something that sounds really organic, even though it's sample-based producing, well, that kind of actually adds to what we're doing with samples, with touching base with older sounds. How can we bring new life into these older sounds, these timeless sounds, and I think that's important.
What I find interesting about how we linked up, like I said, when I think hip hop, I think different elements. That's the foundation, right? He was in the Air Force, I was in the military, so one got the ground cover, the other guy got the air cover, and that's how we mesh well.
You in the Army.
In the Army. That's how we mesh well musically, because him being the vocalist, that's where that air element comes in. Me as the sound guy, giving him that background sound, that's more of an earth element, and it just is very cohesive. So when we make our music, it's an automatic glue.
Musical influences were primarily hip hop and R&B. For hip hop, like I mentioned before, Jay-Z, Biggie, Eminem, Nas, Big L, Anybody that I considered to be a lyricist but still had their own distinct style. Groups as well, Mobb Deep, A Tribe Called Quest, Outkast. Outkast is actually one of my biggest ones because I like that they knew how to be true to themselves as they were changing and changing as people and as artists, and the fact that they were changing and accepting that within themselves and, you know, basically rocking it.
I grew up on listening to a lot of old Latin soul, the whole La Fania collective, Hector Lavoe, Ruben Blades. You know, this is just old, you know, old school salsa. You know, that's what I grew up on. I'm not even gonna say hip hop because that's, you know, it'd be the same names. But I know a lot of the spoken word. Like I like a lot of spoken word, like Saul Williams. You know, some real strong spoken word brothers out there that people may not everyone may know about, but just, you know, just powerful messages. I'm really influenced by the underground more so the mainstream, because I always felt like, you know, the guys that were underground, there was more authenticity, and music, you know, it spoke to me more. I felt that music more.
The first thing to me is to polarize the listener, but not in a negative way, just in a way that challenges their ears and gets them to see things from a different point of view as far as what music can be, how it can be delivered and conveyed, how concepts can be strung together, and just and viewpoints as well, without having to convince the listener to change his or her mind, but just being comfortable with receiving new information, new music, new sounds.
Talk about Manifest Destiny, you know, some background history on it. You know, this is ultimately paying tribute to an online community of men that are just spreading awareness, and, you know, and really, because right now we're living in a culture where it's very, you know, a lot of young people, they just don't have, you know, father figures. They're lacking guidance, you know, because we don't, you know, right now we don't live in a community-based society. And because of that, a lot of people you know, coming up, and in this new generation, they don't have any guidelines on how to be men or women. And so the project was based on, you know, I didn't know if I was going to be able to pull this off, but like I said, I had reached out to some of these coaches, these individuals, these content creators, and they gave us the blessings to sample their material. So once they gave us that, you know, we just took it forward, and he liked the idea, and he's like, hey, you know, I want to be a part of that.
The lead single of this project, Manifest Destiny, is entitled Select Non-Select, and it's a song about different types of men attracting different types of relationships based on their mentality, their mannerisms, how they're going about day to day in their lives. I wrote 3 different verses of 3 different types of men, basically attracting and interacting with 3 different women based on where they were at in life. There's all these different types of dating dynamics. You got online dating now, you have different cultural backgrounds, and it kind of sparked the idea of, oh, you know what, we should do something where we kind of show that there's not just one way to date, there's not just one way to look at how things go between men and women, especially nowadays.
I have not done a project like this before. The project is just, you know, empowerment, you know, self-empowerment, self-improvement, community building. We want you to wake up, you know, and really just reflect, and, you know, start choosing better people to be around, people that are winners, you know, be around the winner circle, you know, get acquainted with people that have seen success, and so you can be a part of that, so you won't be, you know, you won't get, you know, swept away by the muddy waters that are, you know, just sweeping away, you know, a lot of people in the current, you know, society.
I wanted to give a shout out to Greg Halter for just giving me that initial push to say, hey, you know, why don't you write something? Why don't you do a mixtape, do something? I want to give a shout out to Kevin as well, for giving me honest feedback and perspective, and encouraging me to continue to evolve regardless of where, you know, I felt I was at the time. Just want to shout out Alvin Hollinger again, just for linking Will and myself together. I want to shout out Ed, of course, for pushing us forward and giving us the perspective we needed to move, and also just the support and momentum. And also to Ron Wills for really, talking to both of us individually and giving us that motivation to say, oh, you know what? You got some talent. You can really do something with this, man. You should go forward with it. And this is before Will and I even met, but just a mutual friend we had. So definitely shout out to him as well.
Want to give a shout out to the family, just for even taking part in this collective. Ron Wills again. Give a shout out to Master Yao, Alvin Hollinger III, Nixon the Crook, Alayo Music, Democracy. Shout out to the spoken word brother Nobel Michael. Definitely give thanks for the artwork by Tom Bessesti. That's a big clutch right there. So, shout out to Navari.
That's right, yeah.
Shout out to Manchun Chan.
Yep.
Shout out to Big Sean. That's what we call him.
Yep.
Shout out to Sean Asadera. See who else? That'd be the
Shit,
name.
Ultraman.
Oh yes, sir. Ultraman, Eric Tompkins.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah. You can find me on both YouTube and SoundCloud under Evokin, and you can find me on Instagram under the name Evokin27.
You can find me on SoundCloud, SoundCloud/Free Will, or you can find me on my YouTube handle for Free Will. Also, shout outs for Ed Contreras, Alton Records, and Rise Music Entertainment.
Yeah, man, shout out to Ed.
Okay.